Two accounts, same $7,500 a year, same 30 years, same historical average return. One is taxed going in, one is taxed coming out. And here's the part nobody says out loud. At the same tax rate, they finish dead even. $708,000, both of them. Not close, the same. Which means the entire Roth versus traditional debate is decided by one number, and it isn't the return. And you're hearing this now because in 2026, an entire generation quietly voted on it. Fidelity looked across 52 million retirement accounts, and Gen Z is now putting in 34% of all IRA contributions, more than any other generation. Millennials second at 20, and 95% of what Gen Z contributes goes into a Roth. 95. Millennials 75, Gen X 66. That's not a survey. That's what they did. And 95% agreement in personal finance is, one of exactly two things. It's genius or it's a herd. Here's the thing. The whole decision comes down to one question, and it's honestly not a hard one. Will your tax rate be higher now or in retirement? That's the game. That's it. Traditional means you take the deduction today and pay tax when you pull the money out. Roth means no deduction today and the withdrawal is tax-free. Two doors, one question, and everything else you've heard about either account is just decoration.
No problem.
The problem is that to answer it, you need a number about yourself you almost certainly don't have. One you've never looked up. Okay, let's get it. 22 years old, $45,000 a year, gross before anything. In 2026, the standard deduction for a single filer is $16,100, which comes straight off the top, so your taxable income is $28,900. Now watch what actually happens to it. The first $12,400 gets taxed at 10%, $1,240. The remaining $16,500 gets taxed at $1,980. Add them. $3,220 total federal tax.
Wow.
That's a 7.2% effective rate. 7.2. 7. Not 22, which is what half of you would have guessed. Don't tell me you haven't. Because brackets aren't buckets. Your income doesn't get sorted into one and stamped. It gets poured down through layers, and each layer only taxes the part that reaches it. Your effective rate is what you actually pay. Your marginal rate, 12%, is what the next dollar costs. And for this decision, marginal is the only one that matters. 12 cents. That's what Roth costs you on the dollar right now.
Oh, yeah.
Max out an IRA in 2026. $7,500, that's the limit. And that's the IRA, not your 401k. And the deduction you're walking away from is 12% of it. $900 a year. That's the whole price of admission. 3 decades of growth untouchable by the tax code. Permanently. $900 for that. Here's the trap, and this one's going to sting. Because it's coming from the exact creators you trust. You've been told Roth wins because your growth is tax-free. That reason is wrong, not oversimplified. Okay, run it. $7,500 a year, 30 years, 7%. The long-run historical average after inflation, not a promise, you land around $708,000. In a Roth, that's $708, tax-free, done. In a traditional, taxed at 12% on the way out, you keep $623,000. Looks worse, except you also bank that $900 every single year and invest it at the same 7% for the same 30 years. It grows to $85,000. $623 plus 85, $708,000. Because multiplication doesn't care what order you press the buttons in, taxing before compounding and taxing after compounding at the same rate is the same arithmetic. It's not a debate, it's an identity. The math is mathing, that's the problem. So, the most repeated argument in retirement content is dead, and the account it was defending still wins. Just for 3 completely different reasons. 1. Rate arbitrage. The only one that's genuinely about tax. You're locking in 12% at 22. Your peak earning self, the one with the title and the salary and the vaguely unbearable LinkedIn presence, an actual ick, is very probably paying more than 12. So you pay the cheap rate now. That's the trade. That's the whole trade. 2. Nobody invests the side money. That identity I just walked you through only holds if you invest the $900 every year for 30 years. In real life, that $900 shows up as a tax refund, and a tax refund has the structural integrity of a wet paper bag. It arrives in April, it's gone by May, mid-April honestly, and you cannot name one thing you bought with it. Not one. It just... The math assumes a discipline nobody has. 3, and this is the one nobody mentions. The 7,500 cap is the same number for both accounts, but 7,500 in a Roth is money that's already been taxed. It's finished. It's clean. 7,500 in a traditional still owes tax it hasn't paid yet. Same size suitcase, except one of you is packing clothes and the other one's packing clothes plus packing the bill plus the... Okay, one suitcase has a tax bill in it. That's the difference. The Roth quietly holds more real money. The crowd got the right answer by accident. You now have it on purpose. Which brings up the half of the rule nobody says out loud. If lower bracket now than later means Roth, then higher bracket now than later means traditional. Same rule. Run backwards. And there's a group of you, small, but you exist, for whom this flips entirely. The 28-year-old engineer at $180,000. She's in the 24% bracket. Deducting at 24 to withdraw later at 12 or 22 is the arbitrage running the other direction, and Roth is actively costing her money. Traditional wins, not is defensible, wins, and nobody's telling her that because there's a wall almost none of you know exists. Roth IRA contributions phase out between $153,000 and $168,000 for single filers in 2026. Above $168,000, the door is closed. You cannot contribute directly. And all federal, by the way. State tax is its own conversation and not this one. Somewhere along the way, Roth is for young people got flattened into Roth is always better. It isn't. It's better when your rate is low. That's a statement about your bracket, not your birthday. And one last thing. The thing that would have gotten you started 2 years earlier if anyone had said it. The reason your brain refuses to fund a retirement account is, I can't touch it until I'm 60. For a Roth, that's just false. Your contributions, not your earnings, your contributions, the money you put in, come back out anytime, penalty-free. 4 years of maxing it is $30,000 of principal that is yours, on demand, whenever. The growth stays locked. The principal, your principal, was never a hostage. It was just sitting there the whole... Look, it's a retirement account with an emergency fund living inside it. I mean, nobody leads with that, but they should. So, 95% of Gen Z chose Roth, and they were right. Not because growth is tax-free, because at 22 on $45,000, you are standing in the cheapest tax bracket you will ever occupy, and Roth is the one move that lets you pay today's price for the rest of your life. The tax code doesn't care when you figured this out. It only ever asks one question. What's your rate right now? And right now is the best answer you're ever going to have.